Let me welcome our friends and colleagues from Morocco for this very important first session of the U.S.-Morocco Strategic Dialogue.
I stay up, never sleep, in case we gotta go. That way, Nation D, move these on the road. Whoa, 70, I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go, trying to snatch the process in my land. We get all the profits in my land. God bless all the profits in my land. Take off on my flight before my land. Yeah, my land. Bury the hate, shine with the love. I am a God. Honor my fam, longer my days. Guy in the shop. I throw the Hail Mary, get bloody like Carrie. Die in my prime, like busting the grape, then pressing rewind. Get better with time, I fall home to the fortress. Memorize all the records of the Moors, library in my conscience. Library of the Congress, lies vary by the context. 1492, talk about the Spanish when it came to conquest. In real life, playing contraband. Trunk filled with the contraband. Hard life for an honest man. All night for my daughter. On a hot block with no matchup. Came my land. That's express trust in the plan. Do I lead? Prophet the man. Who I be? Count with Steve Vance. Yes, indeed, this be my land. I stay up, never sleep. In case we gotta go. That way. Nation D, move these on the road. Whoa, 70. I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go. Trying to snatch the process in my land. We get all the profits in my land. God bless all the profits in my land. Take off on my flight before my land. Yeah, my land.
It's not a city corpse. 10,000 years haven't been a corpse. Foreigners came to my land, pointing guns and swinging Jesus cross. Empire, not a cityscape. 5 atomic, not shitty lakes. Continent, not Turtle Island. Nobleman, not a wild man. Home is North America, not a stranger, but the landlord. Free white people, not Negro, black, Ethiopia, colored. Navigating with no water. Blacks are still getting slaughtered. Nationality, the order. Foreigners create wall borders. Calling themselves governors since they can't call themselves babe. To keep you in ignorance, they replace the E with the A. Keep you defended, always a defendant. Kill your brother over sneakers, but when the highwaymen kill you, you won't defend it.
I stay up, never sleep, in case we gotta go. That way. Nation D, move these on the road. Whoa, 70. I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go, trying to snatch the process in my land. We get all the profits in my land. God bless all the profits in my land. Take off on my flight before my land. Yeah, my land. Whoa, I stay up. In case we gotta go. That way. Nation D, move these on the road.
It is a violation
I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan.
of dignity.
Trying to snatch the process in my land.
As long as there is blood,
God bless all the prophets in my land.
in the name of God, true and lasting peace.
My land.
Common sense was laid before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rob bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis.
Common sense was laid before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Comment Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no Ali in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Comment Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam Moors, of course, it's always something. Well, they definitely don't want to give it a try over here. They definitely want to keep your trying on the Negro platforms and the black platforms and all the other places where you think they're teaching you something worth learning. Right, all these Aboriginal, indigenous, whoever's, that they don't have a nationality, all they keep telling you is tribes and go get some DNA test to prove who you are and all this BS. But they're playing games with you, as usual, because our people don't study. So let's just go to Stephen Woodman, culturetrip.com. Modern day Mexico was formed by the mixture of Spanish and indigenous cultures. Major cultural events such as the Day of the Dead or religious figures such as the Virgin of Guadalupe have roots in both Spanish Catholicism and Aztec beliefs. Yet, Mexico's Arabic heritage, which is still alive in the customs and languages of the country, is often ignored. You think Mexicans aren't Indians? You think Mexicans aren't the Aboriginal indigenous people? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Everybody in South America are the Aboriginal and indigenous people. All the South American people are the Aboriginal and indigenous people, just as well as the North American people and the Central American people. All these people are Muslims, according to Noble Drew Ali. Hence, ignorance of the Arabic heritage of Mexico. Why would they ignore the Moorish heritage in Mexico? Why would they ignore that? Because they don't want all these people to know that they're Moors. They don't want them to know that. They don't want them to know that we are all Moors, like Anwar Majid said on his book that you can go get and you could read for yourself, the chapter about the New World Moors. Why is New World Moors? What are you talking about? The only reference we know of New World is Europeans coming to America. There's no reference of New World anywhere else in the world when it comes to New World being mentioned. So everybody knows over here is the New World. Well, new to who? Oh, probably just those people that just came here yesterday. But the people who been here, that they met here, they've been here. They had their Aboriginal, indigenous beliefs, and everything Aboriginal and indigenous in the Americas has Hebraic undertones, has Arabic undertones, has Phoenician undertone, has ancient Egyptian undertone. So when you talk about the Americas, keep in mind you're talking about dark-skinned people, the same people who they said the people are from Africa, the same people that they saw over there, that they called Moors. When they came over here, it was the same stuff they had over here. They didn't find Indian wampum belts and stuff like that when they came over here. When they came over here, there was silks over here. When they came over here, it was just as if they would have left Spain, where they just took the Moors out. So how is it that there's Moors again over here? Thought we just banished all the Moors and the Jews. And then they come over here, and then there's Hebraic and Arabic over here too. Somebody's been playing games with you. And it hasn't been Moors, I'll tell you that. Modern day Mexico has Arabic heritage and you're not questioning things? Mexico's Arabic heritage can be traced back to the Moors, the North African Muslims who invaded Spain in 711. Now, why would Mexico's heritage be traced back to the Moors and 711, ruling for 800 years and all that? Why would it go back to them? Why wouldn't it go back to any other people? Because the Moors are the custodians of the ancient Kemetic knowledge, and everybody knew when the Moors were in power, that was just the renaissance of the ancient culture in a new time. That's all it was. So when you're looking at the reference point, Mexico's Arabic heritage goes back to the Moors, and then they start talking about Moors and you get caught in that. What you should be asking yourself is, why are they referring Mexico's heritage to some people on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean that's supposed to have nothing to do with over here? What do Mexicans have to do with North Africa? Anything? Should they even be using them as a reference? Shouldn't they be using somebody from Mexico or something as a reference? Why are they going across the Atlantic Ocean? Why don't they just use a reference point from here? Because when they came over here to the New World, they realized that it's the same as over there. There's no different. Everything over here is over there. And we thought we toppled something over there. And then you come over here, and then they have bigger stuff over here than they had over there. The Moors, their influence on the Spanish language was also profound. approximately 4,000 Spanish words are Arabic in origin. That's why Moors say Moorish Latin. You don't just say Latin. You say Moorish Latin, because that's our shit. Latin's ours too. What you call Spanish. That's ours too. Because 4,000 Spanish words are Arabic. Why would 4,000 Spanish words be Arabic if Spanish isn't relative to Arabic speaking people, which everybody knows? They say that what did Seti say during this debate the whole time? The Moors are the Arabs and the pale Arabs are. So everybody knows Moors are Arabs, right? Everybody knows, right, that Moors are Arabs. All right. Well, the Arabs are the founders of Spanish language. So what does that mean about Spanish speaking people? This stuff is not rocket science. It's really not. This is not some deep stuff like you've been in some Phil Valentine lecture or something. You think you got something deep. It's not that deep. This is really basic. And it's our people's incompetence why they're in the situation that they're in as a people. Architecture. In fact, a Moorish time traveler would probably find plenty that he recognized in modern-day Guadalajara. With their domes and mosaic floors, the city's churches and public buildings display a heavy Arabic influence. Similar styles and patterns can be seen throughout the country, whether in Cholula, central Mexico, or Chiapa in the south. Horseshoe arches, decorative patterns, and designs of quiet inner courtyards are all part of Moorish tradition. Why is this? Where's the teepee at? If they're so aboriginal and indigenous, right? If they're so aboriginal and indigenous, these Mexicans and whatever, how come they have domed buildings? Why would they have a domed building? Shouldn't they have a teepee or something like that if they're aboriginal and indigenous? Because you already know there's no black Indians that claim they built any of these buildings around here. They don't claim none of that. All they claim is DNA test. That's it. And some tribe. So they claim DNA test, they claim tribe, they abandon everything else. Cool. No problem. But why do they abandon? Because they're going to have to show you that this stuff doesn't look Indian. Does this look like an Indian building to you? Does that look like an Indian building to you? Find me an Indian that's going to tell you that this looks like an Indian building. And they're a liar. All this is Islamic, Moorish, Arabic, which is us, the people who were here, the aboriginal and indigenous people. I mean, where is that located? Chiapa de Corzo, Chiapa de Corzo, Mexico. Why is this in Mexico? People are playing games with you. Right? Why is this in Mexico? Indians didn't build this. Find me an Indian who built that. Oh no, you could ask. Don't worry. If you got questions, put them in the chat. But don't forget the answer is mine if the question's yours. So don't get mad at the answer. Just embrace it. Because that's the answer. Don't ever take it personal over here. But we talk like that. So you know this is not a joke. Because personally, I'm sick and tired teaching to be honest with you. Because people don't want this. Only people who study and want this. So it shouldn't be teaching that now. It should be everybody should be Moors, and we should be acting by now. 2020? Moors had this stuff in even after Noble Ali got assassinated. There were still Moors. It's not like stuff went underground or you couldn't find anything. There were still places called Moorish Science Temple or whatever. You know? Because this is some basic stuff. Like somebody, how this even came about, somebody from yesterday or day before or whatever sent a Touchdowns of America guy. A Touchdowns of America guy talking crazy about Moors. You can't talk crazy about Moors. You can't. We're not going to let you just throw stuff out there, talk crazy about Moors. Raspy Rawls throw out some indigenous whatever, as if Moors aren't indigenous. Get the hell out of here. Who built these buildings in Mexico? It wasn't some Indians. It wasn't some black Indian, Cherokee and all that stuff that built these. Where are they at? How come they're non-existent? Please. This is just because somebody sent me the thing. Little research. Little, nothing. 10 minutes, pull up 4 sites, stressing the point. That, oh yeah, there were Moors here. There were Muslims here. When these people came over here, there wasn't the guys who you see with the feathers and stuff like that running around beating drums and all that stuff. That wasn't going on here. There was civilization here. There was none of that tribal stuff going on. They came here and saw these kinds of buildings here. They didn't see teepees. They're playing game with you. Food. There is even a huge Arabic influence on Mexican food. Some classic flavors used by Mexican gastronomy were originally brought to Spain by the Moors, including coriander, if you use that, cumin, cinnamon, and clove. So if coriander, cumin, cinnamon, and clove comes from the Moors, then any of these vegan whoever's and all that stuff that, you know, use seasoning and stuff like that, any of these black whoever's, any of the, whatever you call yourself, if you use coriander, cumin, cinnamon, and clove, and you're talking BS about Moors, F you. Because you're full of BS. Because you should stop using clove, cinnamon, cumin, and coriander if you're hating on the Moors like that. You might as well just stop using anything that's Moorish. But nah. You want to still season up your food and season up your whatever using the ingredients that came from the Moors and then hate on the Moors. That means you're really a hater. A Middle Eastern influence was exerted on Mexican culture when immigrants from Lebanon started arriving in 1890. Salma Hayek, the actor, and Carlos Slim, one of the world's richest men, are among their descendants. Right? Why are they cutting shawarma in Mexico? Yeah, Salma Hayek, yeah. Yeah. He's Lebanese. Not some European or whatever, Mexican or some shit. Salma Hayek. Let us be Moors. Islam, race, and connected histories. Simos Moros wrote the Cuban poet and nationalist Jose Martini in 1893 in support of the Berber uprising against Spanish rule in North Morocco. Let us be Moors. The revolt in the Rif is not an isolated incident, but an outbreak of the change and realignment that have entered the world. Let us be Moors. We Cubans who will probably die by the hand of Spain. And then look up Jose Martini, Cuban poet. And go read some of his poetry, if you could read Spanish. Let us be Moors. He's Cuban. Why did he say let us be Cherokee? Why didn't he say let us be Lene Lenape? Why did he say let us be two Hawks? Let us be Aboriginal and Indigenous. Let us be autochthonous. Let us be Americans. Let us be whatever. No, none of that. Let us be Moors. They're Cuban. You tell me that Cuba is Moorish? Let's see how deep this thing goes. Writing at a time when the scramble for Africa and Asia was full throttle, Martini was assenting connections between those great power forays and Spanish depredations in Cuba, even as the rebellion of 1895 germinated on his land. Throughout the past century, particularly during the Cold War, Latin American leaders from Cuba's Fidel Castro to Argentina's Juan Perón have expressed support for Arab political causes and call for Arab-Latin solidarity in the face of imperial domination, often highlighting cultural links to the Arab world through Moorish Spain. Castro in particular made a philo-Arab pan-Africanism central to his regime's ideology and political initiatives. In his famous 1959 speech on race, the Jefe Maximo, if you go read that, underlined Cuba's African and Moorish origins. We all have lighter or darker skin. Light skin implies descent from Spaniards who themselves were colonized by the Moors that came from Africa. Those who are more or less dark-skinned came directly from Africa. Moreover, nobody can consider himself as being of pure, much less superior race. While the launching of the War on Terror, and particularly with the invasion of Iraq, political leaders and activists in Latin America have been warning of a new imperial age and again declaring solidarity with the Arab world. Some refer, rather quixotically, to a Moorish past, linking the war on Iraq to Plan Colombia and the Bush administration's alleged support of a coup against him, the erratic Venezuelan strongman Hugo Chavez has repeatedly urged his countrymen to return to their Arab roots and attempted to mobilize the country's mestizo and black majority against white supremacy. They call me monkey or black, Chavez says of his domestic and international opponents. They can't stand that someone like me was elected. You still not convinced that the Aboriginal indigenous people here are Moors? If Hugo Chavez and all these South American leaders are telling people of their country who are South American to go back to their Arab roots, what does that tell you? You just Google search, let us be Moors, Islam, race, and connected histories. Stuff is gonna come up. Your people have been playing games with you, telling you you're Latin and you're Spanish and all this BS. No, you're not. You're Moors. You're Moorish Americans. Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Moorish America. Moorish America. This is almorimoorish.wordpress.com. ALMUORI Moorish.wordpress.com. ALMUORI Moorish.wordpress.com. Just go on there, read everything. What kind of people do live in South America? The Spanish, the Portuguese, but chiefly the descendants of these European races who have intermarried with the Indians. Other nations have made lesser contributions. Brazil, which is only a few days by steamer from West Africa, is 1/3 Negro, the crudest type of Negro on the American hemisphere. There is a strong mark of the Moor upon the Spaniard. The Arabic Moor wrought his customs very deeply into the life of Spain. The people of Mexico and Cuba might be called Moorish Americans rather than Latin Americans. The customs, manners, and heart experiences in these people of Latin America are more Moorish than Christian, more Muslim, more Arabic than Spanish. Now, if that doesn't convince you, it's all right. It's all good. You know what I mean? You're the one suffering. We're just letting you know what's up. You're the one suffering. We're just letting you know what's up. If you ever feel like stop suffering. The times of Israel. The times of Israel. When the Spanish Inquisition expanded to the New World. When the Spanish Inquisition expanded to the New World, why would the Spanish Inquisition, which is from across the Atlantic Ocean, come over here to the New World? Oh. Centuries before New Mexico became a U.S. state in 1912, it was a frontier of the Spanish Empire. In that role, it became a link in the story of the Sephardim, the Jews of Spain, who were forced in 1492 to convert to Christianity or leave their homeland. Oh, you think some pigtail hair guys are the Jews? No. Those are the Ashkenazi Jews. The Sephardim were the dark-skinned, melanated Jews, who everybody knows that the original Jews were black. Everybody knows. It's not no secret. The reality is they were Muslim, because you have to be a Muslim in order to be a Jew. You can't be a Jew without studying Islam first. How about that? They'll never tell it to you like that, though. They have you think something else. Remember, these are Jews talking right now. These are the modern Jews talking. Now, in an unprecedented combination of the old world and the new, a Santa Fe museum exhibition is telling the story of the Sephardim, with a focus on the conversos, Jews who formerly converted to Christianity and their descendants who escaped the Spanish colonies of Mexico and New Mexico. Now keep in mind that anytime you mention the conversos, you have to mention the Moriscos, because the Moriscos were the Islamic ones who had formerly converted to Christianity and their descendants because they got colonized. So we're not merely talking about some religious idea. During the time of get the Moors out of here, religion was political. Religion wasn't what you're seeing today, go to church. Religion was, holy man, come and bless the soldiers so we could go kill all these indigenous people on the planet. That's what the holy man was for. They weren't going to church when they were trying to conquer people. They weren't going to church. The holy man worked for the state. And he was the guy that's going to send Jesus with these people so that, or send the devil with them, depending on where they're going or whatever, so that they can get their job done. Right? These are all the sources. Basic. Theculturetrip.com. And you just Google Mexico's hidden Arabic heritage. That's it. Stuff's gonna come up, not just this. And then you Google Let Us Be Moors, Islam, Race, and Connected Histories. And stuff is gonna come up, not just this. And then right now, we're on timesofisrael.com. And their article is when the Spanish Inquisition expanded to the New World. And this was just a Google search on Spanish Inquisition in America. And this came up with other stuff. Right? Now, when you look at this right here, when you look at this, there's no way you're seeing this and thinking that that's Jewish. There's no way. No, it's not. That stuff's in the Alhambra. So if this design, this pattern is being pushed off as if it's Jewish, when really, no, and it's not Jewish, it's Islamic. We know it's Islamic, because the Jews, in order to be a Jew, you have to first study Islam. You can't be a Jew without studying Islam. That's just what it is. Don't get mad because you can't do anything about it. That's just what it is. Of course, because this is a quote-unquote Jewish site, they're going to ride for theirs. If you go to a Chinese site, they're going to ride for theirs. If you go to the whatever site, they're going to ride for theirs. They're just riding for theirs. We're just adding on to what they're saying. But as the 15th century ended, Sephardim also considered the New World that Columbus had reached across the Atlantic. The number of Jews who left for the New World can only be estimated. That was because of the restrictions of 1492. After the Alhambra Decree is issued, it was illegal to be Jewish anywhere in the Spanish world. It was on pain of death. If you were Jewish, you were quite clandestine anywhere in the Spanish Empire. Anyone suspected of practicing Judaism risked the wrath of a new, terrifying organization, the Spanish Inquisition. Established in Spain in 1478, the Inquisition began active investigations in 1480. The next 40 years would see a wave of persecution of crypto-Jews or conversos who secretly practiced Judaism in Spain and to some extent in the Americas. He added that the Inquisition officials included a lot of people of Jewish descent, such as the Grand Inquisitor Thomas de Torquemada. They were the worst of the turncoats. A 1507 copy of the Libro Verde, the Aragon of Belchite, Spain, shows names of those executed for heresy against the Catholic faith. A book naming all those killed by the Inquisition struck deep like the list of Jews who were taken to concentration camps by Nazis 500 years later, Rabbi Amswich said. Now again, when they say Jew, they're not talking about some European. When they say Jew, they're not talking about some European, some pale individual. Most people don't think of the Inquisition operating in North America, that it just operates in Spain. But the power and authority of the Inquisition went with conquest. Anywhere in a Spanish colony, the Inquisition appeared with it. In Mexico City, the 1590s, a second wave of persecutions arose, stretching over a decade. Don Luis de Carvajal, a colonial governor of New Mexico, and his family were some of the Inquisition's victims. So you have nothing right now. Because there's been an Inquisition campaign against you. Because you're playing like you're not the Moors, you're not the Jews, you're not the whatever, you're some Aboriginal and indigenous tribal whatever. And as soon as you say that you're that, you just admit that you're a converso. That you don't honor your foremothers and forefathers. So yeah, they'll give you anything you want. They'll give you recognition and all that stuff. Why not? Why shouldn't they? Right. Don't let them play games with you. Muslims and Jazz, 1953. Black Islamic history. And then it's obviously not black then if it's Islamic, right? It's obviously not black if it's Islamic. (1953), remember. (1953). This article centers around the saxophonist Lynn Hope, also known as El Haj Abdullah Rashid Ahmad, who served as a leader and teacher of a Sunni Muslim community. The piece highlights Islam's appeal as a potential antidote for the evils of white supremacy, anti-black racism, and racial oppression. The author recounts how black jazz musicians like Hope and his band used their religious identity to subvert the discriminatory policies of segregation in the South. They were able to pass since Arabs and Eastern peoples were often designated as white in segregationist America. This was attractive to some, as it indicated one's ability to reconnect to an affirming history and cultural identity, countering any sense of inferiority as a Negro. Oh, so the jazz musicians were on it then. All you jazz listeners out there who hate Moors, and you don't want to be a Moor, but you listen to jazz. All right. All right. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. You probably didn't hear that. Let's just read that again. The author recounts how black Muslim jazz musicians like Hope and his band used their religious identity to subvert the discriminatory policies of segregation in the South. They were able to quote-unquote pass, since Arabs and quote-unquote Eastern peoples were often designated as white in segregationist America. You get it? You get what they did? They stopped saying that they're niggers. They stopped dressing like Moors. And when they start dressing like Moors, all of a sudden, there's no more discrimination. Because people looking at them as Arabic or Eastern. Why would they discriminate against them? What'd they do? They didn't do anything. They're not out here trying to be niggers. They're being themselves. All right, you can do whatever you want. This was attractive to some, as it indicated one's ability to reconnect, because Negroes are disconnected. Right? Negroes are disconnected. Okay. This was attractive to some, as it indicated one's ability to reconnect to an affirming history and cultural identity, countering any sense of inferiority as a Negro. Countering any sense of inferiority. There's no inferiority in existence when you start being your true self. So they're in there teaching them Arabic in there. Remember, these jazz musicians, Muslim musicians. Mohammedan religion has great appeal for many talented progressive jazzmen. What? What? Huh? Oh. But you're not Moors though, but you're gonna be listening to some jazz later. Huh? You're gonna be playing that jazz later, but you're not Moors though, huh? Alright. They also look like they might be Hebrew, don't they? Don't they also look like they could be Jewish? Just remember when deja vu happened in Matrix, the agents were coming. Muslims take firm stand against racism. How? By being themselves. So though racism doesn't even happen to them. They don't know what racism is. But you want to play the Black Lives Matter games. Right, all this is going on? You tell me this stuff wasn't locked down? This stuff was locked down. Ancient religion. People have been playing games with you, telling you. They have been playing games with you. And there you can go right there to go. Right. And this is not their stuff they made up. This is articles that they put up here. So, you know, they made that up, yeah. Whatever, more hater. Turbulent Fez, saxophone up. Right. Saxophone up. Think that a Negro stand on the bar? You talking crazy. You know Negroes standing on no bar playing no saxophone. You gotta be big time to do that. More turbaned up. Over here, you're telling me about some Negro stuff? So know that we've been out here. We've been out here getting this word out to our people that we're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian. We're Moors. And because we're Moors, we have a nationality, we have a birthright. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat, or we about to be off this. So just wanted to put that out there, just for the Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever is playing the tribal games, that everybody knows South America is Arabic, Islamic, Moorish origin. It's only our people who want to play games about some tribal crap. Right? Oh yeah, don't forget you can go get the Domes and Minarets book by Phil Pasquini. Actually, let's just pull him up quick fast. Domes, Arches, and Minarets. A History of Islamic-Inspired Buildings in America. Right? Phil Pasquini. And then you tell me what Indian stuff is this? This is Indian? This is an Indian building? Excellent book for Moors. Just to have some more ammo for them. Talking crazy. Right. So you can get the hard copy. But Phil Pasquini. Domes, Arches, and Minarets. Here. Why are these things here? Why are these things here if this is India? Does look like some Indian stuff, doesn't it? Some Hindustani stuff. What happened to the sovereignty of the states commonly known as the United States of America? Well, Brazil and certain people still have their sovereignty, since you're talking United States of America, which means all the Americas. There's Organization of American States. That's going to show you everybody who has held on to their sovereignty. The only dumbasses are the people above Mexico who want to be Negro black colored instead of being Moors and regaining their sovereignty and then getting back in connection with the United States of America. But they don't want that. They want to be Negro black colored. You know, they want Kanye for their president and all that BS. So there you go. Can you talk about Tartaria and the mud floods in the washing out of the Islamic world? I can't do it justice. Go to Michelle Gibson, a European. Let her tell you. Go to Michelle Gibson, Mud Flood, on YouTube, and let her tell you, European, and she gives supreme honors to the Moors. We're getting the countdown. Islam to all the Moors. We'll be on later because we got to deal with some Noble Jew Ali stuff too. Peace and love to all. Islam to all the mothers.